Hello, my name is Sarah, and I am your chakra coach. On this podcast, we'll be exploring how the chakra system can help guide you to grow your emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual wellness, leading you closer to your highest self. Hi there. What's going on? How are you all doing? I hope you were able to use last week's 7 chakra balancing meditation to help you begin your journey or help center you as you move through life or wherever you are. Before we get started, I wanted to talk about something that I'm a little uncomfortable talking about, but I've gotten enough messages, I mean, not many, but enough that I wanted to address them about why there aren't more pictures of me on the Your Chakra Coach Instagram page. And maybe that sounds silly, but it's happening. So let's talk about it. I don't do a great job at getting photos of myself, really ever, but certainly not with the intention of making them public. I'm that obnoxious person in your family photos who will tolerate like 2 or maybe 3 pictures and then I'm done. And that really carries over into everything. Plus, I really want this show to be about you and what you're doing and what you're going through. And in my head, posting pictures of myself didn't really contribute to that mission, so I don't really do it. But I appreciate that some of you want to put a face to the voice. So I will make an effort to go against my natural inclination and post a few more selfies or whatever. If you don't want them, just scroll on by. I mean, y'all are so great, and it's just such a privilege to get to interact with you each week. So that's done with. Let's get on to today's topic. It's something I've wanted to talk about for a long time, but I really struggled to organize the ideas into a podcast. When we're setting goals or trying to figure out what we want to be when we grow up, one of the first things I've always been asked to do is to define my personal values. And I've always struggled with this exercise because I feel like I value so many things. Like, am I a monster if I say I value integrity over family? Or do I say I don't value tradition? Except sometimes I do. So I never really understood how to limit what I value or clarify what I value. But recently I've been thinking about values as they relate to our chakras. Each energy center holds different qualities, different aspects, different values, perhaps. And when we understand what the chakras contain and where we are in our lives and what we need, I think it's easier for me to understand what my values are. And what we value most changes over time. Of course it does. And for me, my chakra work has created the framework to understand the change and how to articulate what is most important to me at various times in my life. The other thing I think this work does is help us understand how to act on our values, how to align how we're living with what we say is the most important to us. And in my experience, humans are most at peace, happiest when they say and do things that are in alignment with what matter to them most. So, as we do with so many of our series, we're going to start at the root. We'll talk about what it holds, what values live there, and how to find movement toward balance in the energy center through the choices we make in life. Now, side note, I'm obviously not going to be able to discuss every single thing that might be important to every single person. As you're thinking about your values, if I don't mention them specifically, try to see where they most closely align and allow yourself to be creative in how you approach this work. Tailor it to your individual needs. Okay, the root chakra. Regular listeners know that the root chakra is our place of grounding, safety, and authenticity. Our right to be, to exist, to take up space. And while it can sound odd to say that we might doubt our right to exist, a lot of us do question it. or we feel like we have to prove our value and our worth all the time. In fact, many people who feel this way are fully on board with the idea that human beings have inherent value. Their friends, children, partners, everyone else seemingly has value simply by virtue of the fact that they're here. But we can feel like somehow we're the exception to this. If that sounds familiar, you are in very broad company. It's the reason we feel like we constantly have to be productive, because our culture has trained us to believe that unless we're contributing to someone else, something outside of ourselves, we're not being productive and therefore not valuable. And this is the root chakra, the inherent value of us without needing to do or be anything for anyone. So when we talk about what we value, the traits and characteristics that mean the most to us, we can either be strengthening or weakening this chakra. And I'm not here to try to change your values. Of course not. Your values are your own. We're just going to talk about how our values are affecting our energy centers. If we truly value something and it's dimming an energy center, that's okay. We can use other practices to help balance it. That's not a problem. We're just creating awareness around ourselves, examining what we do and why. You never have to change anything about yourself. If you value productivity, value it and know where it comes from and what you're gaining or losing from that value. Overall, I think we want our values and the actions that align with those values to enhance our lives, not make us feel worse. Our values are worth examining in that way. Another value, aside from productivity, that I already mentioned briefly is authenticity. It's one of those that we all think we value, and it's a core component of the root chakra. Personally, I don't see a lot of downside to authenticity. If you do, please let me know because I would love to learn more. But I also know that even though we say we value it, a lot of times our actions don't line up with this value. We don't act in ways that are truthful to ourselves. We step away from who we are in an effort to make others happy or get people to like us or to meet expectations from partners, parents, society, whatever. And I understand that we need to act appropriately for each situation. Like, we're not going to be exactly the same at work as we are at home, as we are with children, or as we are in just varying life situations. But there should always be the core of our being that we stay true to. And I'm not sure that we all do this consistently. I know I don't. And I think that's just part of existing and interacting with others. But if we truly want to have authenticity as a personal value, we need to be working on ourselves in a way that strengthens that rather than pulling us away from our center. You may also know people or be someone who is what I call aggressively authentic, the kind of person who puts out in your face declarations of, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And on the surface, that's great. And if it's true, wonderful. But so much of the time when I dig deeper on this with clients, it's really a statement designed to push people away. People who might ask you to leave your comfort zone and grow a little. People who question you, challenge you out of love, not out of anger. But if you say, this is who I am and this is who I'll always be, and if you don't like it, get out of here, you're pushing away opportunities to learn and grow. And maybe that's okay with you. But for a lot of us, we're actively looking for those opportunities. So to have this aggressively authentic persona is detrimental, not to mention not truly authentic. Or in other cases, we demand people accept us for who we are, but we're not willing to do the same. It's so easy to cast ourselves as the arbitrators of who is authentic and who isn't, or demands that others change so that they can fit into our authentic lives. But these are just things to think about as you're working with your root chakra. creating the space for you to live fully and holding the space for others to do the same. That's really the only way to embrace authenticity as a stated value. How about security? Is that something that you value? I think most people like some security. It helps us feel safe, and most of us want some measure of that feeling. But do you count it as one of the things that you want most in life? There are lots of people who do, and they work to create that secure life through relationships, work, financial safety. This value can come from having root chakra trauma from childhood or perhaps an event later in life that took away security. So the pull towards safety is an effort to build up the root chakra, even if we don't always recognize it. I'm interested, though, in people who say they value security or they want to have a stronger root chakra, but their actions don't line up. And in my experience, it's almost always unconscious sabotage, not an active choice. Example: a client tells me her root chakra needs attention, and that is her primary goal in our work together. But she maintains a relationship that makes her feel insecure all the time, allowing this person to drift in and drift out of her life as he wants, forcing her to change her life every time he comes and goes. That's not security, and it's making her really, really terribly unhappy. And this isn't to blame her. We all do things for a reason, and I know she is getting something out of the relationship, but it isn't security, which is the thing she says she values. And when our actions don't line up with our values, it creates turmoil in our hearts and minds and bodies. I am all for valuing security, even having it as one of the top things you want in your life. And if that's real for you, if that helps you, let's explore that too. Is it helping you? Or is it something you've outgrown? Sometimes we can get caught in that feeling of security. Perhaps it was something we needed in life at one time, but now it's holding us back. Security is stopping us from taking a chance on something new. I think we're such funny creatures in this way. We will we'll stick with a terrible known rather than risking something we don't even want for the possibility of something great that is unknown. It's not everyone, of course, but I think this is a very prevalent root chakra imbalance too. Not enough security versus too much. Excessive energy there weighing us down. And there are ways to take risks without losing security, or at least losing all of it. You have to find the balance that works for you. Determine what you truly value in life, and where your balance is in your root chakra and on the need for security spectrum. Okay, one more. I feel like I could go on and on with root chakra values, and I'm sure you're already thinking about your priorities and how they relate to your root chakra. I'll give you one more, one that's quite dear to me: health, physical health. The root chakra is most closely associated with our bodies, more closely than any other chakra, really. It's the physical plane that we live in. And it seems kind of obvious to me that health should be a priority, even if it isn't one of our top values. But for some people, it really, really is. And something we probably don't pay enough attention to. I mean, you may know that I work in the health and fitness space, and I have for decades. And I still struggle with this one because physical health is impacted by so many things, not all of which are under our control. You live where you live. Your environment can impact your health. Not everyone has access to the same kinds of healthcare or grocery stores or lives where it's safe to go outside for a walk, even. Not everyone can just pop down to the local yoga studio for a class. Our health environments are not all created equal, and that can create root chakra trouble. Poor physical health can cause or be caused by this root chakra imbalance. Poor physical health can create imbalances in your other chakras as well. It doesn't have to, but it can. And a reminder that good health looks different on everyone. And you literally cannot tell by looking at someone whether they are healthy or not. So you will have to look within yourself to know if you are well. A doctor might be able to tell you if you are disease free to the best of their knowledge, and they can provide treatment to restore a baseline level of health in some cases. But in the end, your wellness, your well being is something that's really individual. So, health as a value, health as a tool to rebalance a root chakra, maybe that's something you want to look at. There are a few pillars of health, a few common things that are generally acknowledged to improve the functioning of our bodies. One, one more reminder before I start that these are just questions to ask yourself, ideas to explore, not a direction or a command to change. Okay? But the pillars of health. A couple are obvious: not smoking or drinking alcohol. Am I saying give these things up? No. I'm saying explore how you feel with them in your life. Another pillar: getting enough sleep. We're a chronically sleep deprived world, and it might be impacting your health. And movement. Moving your body in some way that feels good. Walking, yoga, lifting weights, chair stretches, dancing in your kitchen. Move your body. It's good for all kinds of health, not just physical, and it gets the energy in your chakras flowing too, rather than allowing it to get stagnant. And it doesn't, I repeat, does not have to be some sort of formal exercise program. It could be, but it 100% does not have to be. And more isn't better. Overexercising isn't healthy. Rest and sleep and movement need balance. And you'll have to find the balance that keeps you feeling your best. Now, all I'm saying with this little section on health is that if you are trying to balance your root chakra, it might be helpful to focus on your health. Is it a priority or a value for you? There are so many more root chakra values, so explore what you value if it is a part of your root chakra, and then look at your life. Are you living in alignment with those values? Do you want to work on your root chakra, but then prioritize things that are causing more imbalance? This series is going to ask you to really look deeply at yourself and find the ideals that really matter to you. I'll be doing it right along with you. So if you want to reach out and talk about it, just find me on social media, Instagram or Facebook at Your Chakra Coach. You can also email me at sarah@yourchakracoach.com and we can work through it. Defining our values is so important because that's what's going to help us find balance and peace and all those wonderful things that we look for when working with our chakra system. And last, I used to have some yoga videos up on the Patreon page. I had to take them down, but I'm going to be working on getting new ones up. So Patreon members, look for those. Maybe I'll do a short sequence for each chakra if you think that would be helpful. If you want to join the Patreon for videos and meditations and other things, I'll put the link to that in the show notes. Until next week, my friends, pay attention to what you value. Notice if your actions support that, or even if what you value has changed and you're holding on to something old. We are not the same people day after day, year after year, and an exploration like this allows us to discover who we are right now. I can't wait to explore further with you over the next few weeks. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.